Guy sat at the table in our spacious dining room, surrounded by family. My wife Sarah was animatedly discussing the latest news with her father, while her mother laid out the fragrant roast on the plates. My mother-in-law, Catherine, sat across from me, sipping red wine. Her expressive green eyes met mine from time to time, forcing me to look away. Catherine had always been an enigma to me, elegant, witty, with a great sense of humor. She attracted me like a magnet, although I tried not to show it. Our relationship couldn't be called warm. Rather, we just tolerated each other for Sarah's sake. The dinner went on as usual. We talked about work, weather, weekend plans. However, I felt a strange tension emanating from Catherine. Maybe it was the wine, or maybe it was the way her evening dress hugged her figure so alluringly. "Jake, would you be so kind as to help me clear the table?" my mother-in-law asked when everyone had finished eating. I obediently started collecting the plates while the others slowly dispersed to their rooms. Soon, Catherine and I were left alone, and I suddenly felt the awkwardness of the situation acutely. I needed to start some casual conversation to diffuse the atmosphere. "That was a great dinner, Catherine. Thank you," I said, stacking the dishes in the sink. "You're welcome, Jake. I'm glad you enjoyed it," she replied, standing so close that I caught the scent of her perfume, something floral and very feminine. We began leisurely clearing the table, and Catherine struck up a conversation about my work. I told her about the new project I was working on, the difficulties and problems I had to face. Her genuine interest was captivating, making me share my innermost thoughts and feelings. Gradually, our conversation turned to more personal topics: my relationship with Sarah, the rough patch in her parents' marriage, my dreams and aspirations. Catherine listened very attentively, occasionally touching my hand as if to encourage me. These touches sent shivers down my spine. "What about you and Sarah? Are you happy?" she asked, looking me straight in the eye. I hesitated, not knowing what to say. Of course, I loved my wife, but something in our marriage had long since gone wrong, lost its spark. But I couldn't admit that to her mother, could I? "We're fine. Don't worry," I finally managed to say. Catherine smiled at the corner of her mouth, clearly not believing my words. She came closer, adjusting the collar of my shirt. "You know, Jake, if you ever feel like talking, heart to heart, I'm always ready to listen," she almost whispered. There were mischievous twinkles in her eyes. I swallowed, feeling the atmosphere between us heating up. I needed to change the subject quickly before things went too far. I stepped back, trying to ease the tension hanging between us, but Catherine was not about to give up. She leaned forward, wrapping her arms around my neck. Her breath scorched my skin, her lips so close I could feel their heat. "Catherine, what are you doing? We shouldn't," I mumbled, losing the last shreds of my composure. Her well-groomed fingers tangled in my hair, pulling me into a passionate kiss. I tried to resist, but my body betrayed me, responding to her caresses with the hunger of a man starved for love. Our tongues intertwined in a sensual dance, hands exploring the curves of our bodies, crumpling clothes. Catherine let out a soft moan as I pressed her against the wall, kissing her neck and collarbones. The delicate lace of her dress crackled under my fingers. My mind told me to stop, that this was wrong, but the lust, the carnal hunger that had been building up for years, had already completely taken over me. I scooped Catherine into my arms and carried her to the guest bedroom, never ceasing to kiss her yielding lips. We tumbled onto the bed, frantically tearing off each other's clothes. Skin to skin, breath to breath, we were no longer concerned with propriety or taboos, only the passion burning inside us and the desire to sate ourselves with each other. I caressed her firm body, savoring every inch. Catherine arched towards me, digging her nails into my back, moaning with pleasure. The heat of her body was driving me crazy, making me move faster, more fiercely, until we both exploded in a blinding flash of ecstasy. Afterward, we lay side by side, drenched in sweat, catching our breath. Reality slowly seeped through the haze of bliss. What had we done? This must not happen again. We couldn't destroy our family for the sake of a fleeting whim. But then, why did my heart feel so light and joyful? The next morning at breakfast, Catherine and I diligently pretended that nothing had happened. We smiled, joked, maintained a casual conversation. But something had still changed. There were unspoken words, secret glances, accidental touches that made us flinch. Sarah didn't seem to notice anything. But my father-in-law was giving me suspicious looks as if he suspected something. I couldn't find peace, tormented by guilt and shame toward my wife. Had our marriage grown so cold that I had decided to cheat on her with her mother? Catherine looked serene, only her eyes betrayed a hidden anxiety. She was clearly just as worried as I was, afraid that our secret would come out and shatter the fragile family equilibrium. We needed to talk, to decide what to do next, but the opportunity never presented itself. The days dragged on, filled with awkwardness and tension. I caught Sarah's pensive looks, saw the silent question in her eyes. Sooner or later the truth would come out. And then what? Would she forgive me? Could we start over? The agonizing uncertainty was eating away at my soul. Weeks went by, but the storm clouds over our family never burst into a cleansing downpour. Catherine and I silently agreed to keep what happened a secret, avoiding any hints or provocations. However, the temptation didn't go away. We started seeing each other less often, only at family dinners on weekends. But even that was enough to stir the imagination, to make the body ache with desire. Furtively, we exchanged hidden glances full of unquenched passion. Sometimes, when we found ourselves alone, we couldn't resist kisses and caresses. But we didn't go any further, realizing that our fragile little world might not withstand a second time. Gradually, the sharpness of attraction dulled, replaced by the usual sense of guilt and understanding of the need to keep ourselves in check. We learned to play our former roles, the respectable son-in-law and the affable mother-in-law. Life returned to its familiar course, although the former serenity was gone. I found myself increasingly thinking about what I really wanted, what I was striving for. My marriage to Sarah no longer seemed so unshakable and uniquely right, but it was also scary to leave for the unknown, sacrificing stability. So we lived, keeping a shameful secret, maneuvering between duty and temptation, going with the flow. Maybe someday I would dare to make a change. But for now, I had to be content with the memories dear to my heart and the rare moments of secret happiness with Catherine, the woman who made me take a fresh look at my own life. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.